Alright, hello everyone and welcome to our first WPI Accepted Students live stream. Congratulations first and foremost for being accepted to the WPI World Class of 2023. We're coming at you live from the video recording suite here in our newest building on campus, the Foisey Innovation Studio. My name is JP Miralda. I am a current senior, originally from Tegucigalpa, Honduras in Central America. I major here in industrial engineering and I'll be graduating in a couple of days. Some of the things I do here on campus outside of working in our admissions office is that I'm also part of our Professional Society of Industrial Engineers, and I am a varsity swimmer as well. But more than just myself, I'm also joined by an awesome group of students who also work in the admissions office. So without further ado, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. If you could talk a little bit about your name, your major, what year you are, and then your hometown, and perhaps what your favorite involvement at WPI is.
Welcome everyone, my name is Andre Sanchez. I'm going to be a junior next year. Right now I'm studying electrical and computer engineering. I'm from a small town in Oxford, Connecticut. My favorite thing about campus, I think, would be being a community advisor for the first year students, new student orientation, and even after that for 2 semesters or a semester long is just a wonderful thing.
Hi everybody, my name's Zoe. I'm currently a first year industrial engineering student. And my favorite involvement on campus is Gompy's Goat Cheese, a student-run company on campus, and I live in Ventura, California.
Hi everyone, my name's Emma. I'm a current junior here at WPI majoring in biomedical engineering, and I'm originally from New Hampshire, so I'm fairly local. And my favorite campus involvement would probably be art club.
Alright. Awesome. So we're going to get started with our questions. If you do have any questions throughout the live stream, feel free to drop those in the comment section and we'll take them as they come. Alright, so we're going to get started with our very first question. I'm going to send this one Emma's way. So Emma, can you tell us a little bit about how WPI is a little bit different than high school? How would you describe the typical WPI student?
Okay. For me, high school was definitely more competitive, where I was a lot more stressed out about my GPA and juggling all my classes, whereas like WPI has 3 classes and a lot more of a collaborative environment where you're working on projects, more hands-on learning. So that was kind of different for me, but like in the best of ways. So for me, I think, yeah, just the collaboration in that environment.
I also think that the typical WPI student really values balance, so the balance between social involvement in clubs and also schoolwork. So it's a really cool community where we understand where we need to put work in and when we need to have fun and get more experience on campus.
Alright Andres, here's the next one for you. How would you say the term structure is different from sort of a semester schedule? How does that work differently?
Yeah, so coming here, obviously it's a big change from just taking a couple classes, 5 classes, 6 classes, to just 3 classes over 7 weeks. I absolutely love it. At times it can get a little fast-paced just if you don't manage your schedule correctly, but you don't have to worry about that. You can just have a good schedule, have a good routine, and you're only focusing on those 3 classes, which is amazing. You retain the same material, and even after, when you go through those 7 weeks, you'll start into a new set of classes, and then that way they build on each other. So you're always focused, you're always working, so you keep getting challenged at WPI. Aside from a 5 class semester, you might lose a little bit of what you learned in previous weeks, or project will sneak up on you because you might procrastinate a little bit. So WPI really teaches you how to keep focused, keep a maintained schedule, and that's really amazing to have in the future.
Awesome. And Zoe, being a first-year student, you were the one who most recently went through the process of getting used to that term schedule. How can you describe what getting used to that over your first year was, and how did you do that?
Yeah, I was worried about it being a rocky transition because I'm also a part of the varsity field hockey team, so that's a big commitment starting an A term. But I actually found that there's so many resources available here at WPI that it really made it a smooth transition. So there's a ton of different tutoring opportunities, and then there's also office hours, which I found very valuable. So the transition for me was really great, and I love the fast-paced curriculum here.
Awesome. Alright, so I have my first question from the audience. It's coming in from Danilo, and this one's, again, I'm going to start with you, Emma. Because you're a junior and you've been through this. So what's your opinion on the Career Center, like the services they offer? What's your experience with them?
They're amazing. They actually helped me get my internship for this summer. They're one of like the top ranked in the country, right?
Number 5.
Number 5. Nice plug there. But they have a ton of different like opportunities or options for students to get more help as you need it, especially coming from high school. Like I didn't have a previous internship to college, and I didn't really know how to act in an interview or things like that. I didn't even know the process of what websites I should go on, if it's LinkedIn or Handshake, how to even get connected to these companies. So they really help you get connected and then also kind of comb through your resume and prep you for interviews. So it's really, really helpful. And they also hold 2 huge career fairs, and they're basically like holidays on campus where everyone goes, and you can meet over like 400 plus companies come to campus through those 2 career fairs. So you have a lot of opportunity and a lot of exposure to companies that you could be employed in later. And it's actually how I met my internship, which is Nordson Medical, close to campus here. But I actually met them at the career fair, so yeah.
All right, so this one, I'm going to have everyone pitch in for this next question. This one comes from John Robinson, and the question is outside of school and clubs, what is your day-to-day life like? So Zoe, if you want to start us off.
Oh my gosh. So currently I live in Founders, and Founders is suite style living, and I actually ended up in a suite with 8 people, and we've turned out to be a little family. I love them all, and we're living together next year too, so I hang out with them all the time. We're a little bit obsessed with a restaurant called The Fix near WPI. They have amazing burgers, so we go there a little too often. So outside of school and social life on campus, I tend to be like playing board games with my suite, and then we'll hop on over to The Fix and get dinner. There's a lot of really good restaurants in Worcester, so that's one of my favorite things to do.
For me, I happen to live off campus, but still I hang out with my friends on campus. We like to go up on the quad, play some frisbee, play some catch. We'll do work together. We'll sneak into some lecture halls when they're open and they're not being used, and we'll put on a movie on the big projectors as like a big group of friends. That's really awesome to do. But as well, we'll also like to go out to restaurants on the weekends, and there's a lot of clubs on campus that will put on events. There's Greek Life Philanthropy events that will happen. Our social committee, SOCOM, will have their events on campus as well, especially now that there's warmer weather, we can be outside. So there's just a lot of fun things to do on and off campus as well.
Oh, I actually have a question that's going to go directly to you, and this
Okay.
one's directly for you, yeah. So this one's from Noel. They ask, what are you able to do in art club?
Oh, a bunch of different things. So it actually meets every week, and it's usually like 5 p.m. on Friday, so right after classes get out. And some meetings are just you can show up and they have a bunch of supplies out and you can kind of do whatever you want, whatever your heart feels that day. So it's just kind of like a hangout session with your friends while you do art. And then they also will organize events, like they have Bob Ross Paint Night, where you follow a Bob Ross tutorial off of Netflix and everyone gets a little canvas, which is really fun. And then there's some other ones where we've done like acrylic pours, and so it'll be kind of more, almost like a lecture for art, where they'll have like a demonstration and then everyone kind of gets to have their go at it. So yeah, and that's about every week, so it's a pretty active club, and it's really relaxing outside of classes.
Awesome. Bob Ross sounds pretty
Yeah.
cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the food. What are your opinions about the food options on campus, the food service, and whatever we have available on campus?
So I eat in the dining hall a lot because I'm a freshman, and my favorite part of the dining hall, it's called the Spoon. So they host daily, they'll have a different country, which I think is really cool because it's a lot of different options. You can try something new. So for example, one day they did Brazil and they had flank steak, which I thought was like amazing. And then also something cool about the dining hall is that you don't have the same meal at lunch as at dinner. So like as a freshman who eats there every day, it's really nice to have something new, try something different that you don't want at the same day.
Yeah.
I remember from last year when I lived in the dormitories, we would go to the Goat's Head restaurant in Founders Hall, and on Thursdays or Fridays they'd have karaoke night or they'd have trivia night, a lot of fun events. And then on the meal plan, the bonus points part of your meal plan, if you found a person on your floor that had leftover bonus points, you could go to the local Boynton restaurant and get like a lobster, surf and turf dinner, you know, and you'd really, really want to be friends with that person afterwards.
Yeah, you can use bonus points at the Fix too, which I like.
Oh,
How many?
Yes.
So to explain a little bit about the system behind dining, there's a few options that we have. We have a cafe, we have Planet Smoothie and Auntie Anne's, but usually for our first year students what happens is that most of them will be eating in the big dining hall that we have, the Pulse on Dining Marketplace. That one's located right in Morgan Hall, one of our main dormitories up here on the hill. In addition to that, there's always options as well to eat in the Goat's Head,
Yes.
right? How many swipes do you get per week in the Goat's Head?
Well, because I live in Founders, I actually can eat there whenever I want
Yes.
during dinner time, but it's typically 2 meals a week if you
Mhm.
don't live in Founders.
And Goat's Head is a little bit more of like a
It's like
Small
a
little
diner
restaurant.
almost. It's like they have sandwiches and burgers and salads. I really like their food.
I'd call it like Panera style. I'd
Yes.
put it like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
You can like go up and order and like sit and eat, or take it if you want.
Uh-huh.
It's just like a meal site.
And then our third popular option is a dining hall in the campus center, which is more of like a pay per item sort of situation. If you use one of your first year swipes in there, you're gonna get a certain amount of food. Whereas the one in the pod, the one in Morgan Hall, you can get sort of like all the food that you could want with a single swipe, right? So those are, for the most part, the three main options, and then the bonus points and all those help as well, because you can eat in establishments in the city as well. So it's a nice little addition to the plan.
Absolutely.
All right, so Zoe, you might want to help me out in
Yes.
answering this one. This one says, for the industrial engineering majors, there seems to be a limited number of classes available on the schedule. How hard is it to get to the required classes? Or can you register for them?
So I just did registration for my sophomore year, and I actually had no trouble at all. I got into every class that I wanted to. I took Business 3020, which is like the intro level industrial engineering class, past C term, so I haven't had any difficulties thus far.
I would say so, being a fourth year industrial engineering student as well, that I never really had any trouble with scheduling my classes or not being able to register for the class. Usually what happens is that once you get into your more major specific courses, it's a little bit easier to find availability. Sometimes it's tougher to find your ideal schedule if you're trying to find the best time for calculus and you really don't want to take the 8 a.m. and the 8 a.m. is the only one that's available.
Sometimes you gotta suck it up.
Yes, usually at the beginning, but when you get to more major specific courses, registration is pretty flexible, and whenever there's need to add more capacity to a class, they will do that as well. We're a small enough university where that's possible, right?
Yes.
So not a very big trouble, not just in industrial engineering, but in other majors as well. Alright, so let's go on to the next question. Do the 7-week terms cover the same amount of material as a 10-week quarter? Does some material get skipped? Anybody want to take that one?
I'll take this one. From what I've noticed from calculus class, that's the only one that kind of breaks up evenly in the 4 calculus classes that there are here. Let's say it's something like an electrical and computer engineering class, which is my major. You might think they're trying to fit all this in the 7 weeks. WPI and the WPI plan, they really try to build each class off of one another. So there's something that you'll learn in a previous class that might be recommended, never required, to take in another class. So maybe it's a level above or it's just a different topic. And what I've seen is that it's never rushed. The professor never tries to skip as much material. Since some of them also have had jobs before WPI and they know the industry, they know what to teach and they know what to tell these students about. This is what you'll see and this is what's going to be useful outside of just the textbooks and outside of just common knowledge. So that's something that I've personally seen that professors would want to do.
So I'm going to add to that too, that even though it's only 7 weeks, the classes meet more often,
Yeah.
right? So as opposed to a semester schedule where they might be meeting like twice per week, some of them even just once per week, our classes are meeting almost every day during the week, right? So you're covering the same content, it's just covered a lot quicker. One thing that I've noticed as a senior is that the pace at WPI moves a lot quicker, right? The WPI student is getting stuff done a lot quicker, right? It just feels like the year just flies by, because in 7 weeks you started your class, you did your midterms, you did your finals and your final project, so it's like it flies by. So it has its pros and cons, right? It's something that you need to get used to, but it gets you very well prepared to be someone who like delivers in tough and like during tight deadlines and stuff like that. I don't know if you've all had the same experience.
Yeah, I think especially with like engineering, we're most likely working on like research and development or something where like you're working on projects, and usually it is quicker pace already. And I think kind of having that environment on campus and in classes kind of helps you get prepared for industry and like actually everything after college too. Just kind of grooms you.
So directly following up that question, what is a typical workload like for a WPI student? Do you feel like you have enough free time? Do you feel like you have enough time to be outside of class and doing other of your interests?
I'll take that one. So for me, I am all about like time management, and I always give myself the rule of thumb is that like my work day is 9 to 5. So I try to get all my homework done then, and I always have been able to complete that. It's only 3 classes at the end of the day, and I always say it's easier to juggle 3 balls instead of 5 when you're first learning how to juggle, especially like as a freshman in college. So it allows you to focus your attention on each of those. Especially if you're a freshman, maybe you're taking a humanities and arts class and maybe like a science or a math. So you're kind of in different subjects, and they require different levels of commitment during like certain parts of the school year. So you'll learn how to like juggle those things anyways. But I've always been able to kind of keep my schedule during the day, and then I've always had like nights free basically. I think it's just the kind of student that you are, and if you're able to have a schedule for yourself and keep to that, then great. But if you're more like spread out during your day and you want free time, and after lunch for a nap or something, you can do that of course too, but I think it depends on the student. But for me, I've never felt like overwhelmed. I've never had to pull like an all-nighter. I've never had like one of those like horror stories really, but yeah.
And something that I think is cool is that in high school I would always have to like, okay, I'm going to turn my chemistry brain on now, I'm going to turn my English brain on now, but here at WPI there's a lot of like intermingling of courses, so a lot of like our math will help with our science courses. This doesn't always apply, but it's cool because it's one thing will help you with another thing.
Yeah. I am going to add that there are definitely times where things get tough, and that is normal because that's what college is really like. That would be here or at any other school, I would say. There's particular courses that can be a little bit challenging. I know I have pulled all-nighters, and like that's been part of like my work, you know, and that happens to us at some points, and it's sometimes we're going to hit that wall where we need to plow through a lot of work. I know, for instance, if I could give you an example, like and you guys have probably heard about this, the robotics engineering like intro courses, those labs are brutal, right? Like it's some of those things that sometimes those classes can be very challenging. But then again, what's nice about that is that we have a schedule that moves over 4 different terms, right? So the classes are going to be over in 7 weeks, so usually you get 7 weeks of very intense work. And the other thing is like, once you meet the community and once you start talking to other people, you know how to prepare for those terms where you know you're going to be working a lot. Usually the term before we go away for IQP, we know that we're going to be working a lot on that ID 2050 class, so we try to keep the course load balanced, right? And then that's something you learn with time here at WPI. All right, so I hear that there was a little bit of an audio cut off when we were talking about rest services, so we're going to talk a little bit about it again.
Yes.
If you guys could say where you were living, what you liked about living there, what about that particular hall, and then we can review again a little bit more about the different options that you're all going to be able to see. So, my 2 founders girls, take it away.
Yeah, so we both lived in Founders, and I kind of said for myself, I actually was in a suite of 5. And then the bedrooms are typically made up of like singles, doubles, and triples, and I actually landed in one of the singles. I don't know how, but I ended up in a single. So it was nice to still have that kind of like social aspect with like 5 suite mates, but I could still like close my door and I needed privacy as well. So that was really nice. So it's kind of like a little bit more independent as well, because you still have your own bathroom, and then you have kind of like a common space living room with a kitchenette too. So it kind of feels like home, and you were saying like your roommates felt like family.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. So currently I live in Founders, and I'm in an 8-person suite, so we have 2 triples and 2 singles, as well as our common room with the little kitchenette. So like she said, we're a little family, and I absolutely love them all. I spend a lot of time with them, and they're like my best friends on campus. So that's where I found my community at WPI. I really like Founders because below it is Goat's Head, and there's a lot of social events that go on in Goat's Head. So there's trivia and Just Dance and karaoke. So that's a really fun way to just escape from homework really quickly.
So I happen to live in Morgan Hall. My favorite thing about that is that you build, with all these residential halls, you build such a great community. I happen to have such really good friends that came out of my dorm. In Morgan Hall, they're mostly triples, and there's about 90 people on the floor. And the best thing about that is, instead of having a suite in our own room, we have a common room. So in the common room, everyone would go there and play board games, or put on movies, and we'd also get some people from downstairs to come up. They'd play games with us as well. And I personally think the best part about Morgan Hall is that the dining hall is right below, so when it's winter outside, you don't have to walk across campus to go eat food. You can just go down. Same with the laundry room. You can just go in your PJs. And then there's also the wonderful resources of the Academic Research Center and the Math and Science Help.
Yes. So as you're going through the rest hall application process, you'll notice that there's 6 different halls that are available to you. So there's 3 that are right off the quad, right? That would be Riley Hall, Daniels, and Morgan. Daniels and Morgan also intersect in the middle where the main dining hall is as well. So you're very close to the dining hall. In addition to that, we also have the Stoddard complex. It's a complex because there's 3 different buildings out there. There's Stott A, B, and C. What's nice about Stoddard too is that they form their own little community. Once again, it's right across the street from the dining hall and the rest hall, and then the rest of the things that are going on in the quad. And then if you're looking for something that's a little bit more quiet, it's off the hill is Founders and Institute as well that are located right down the hill. Founders is the only one that's suite style living, right? So you might be living in a single suite that has multiple rooms off of it. It has the Goat's Head restaurant located right below, so you can eat in the Goat's Head restaurant. And then Institute Hall is directly next to Founders as well. So those 2 are together down the hill. It's a little bit more quiet because you're not right next to the quad. So there's a little bit of trade-offs that are going to come with all the rest hall services. But then again, they're fairly standard, right? You're going to get the same quality of housing in all 6, right? Which is nice. The bathrooms are nice and clean, and they've all been updated very recently. They keep doing updates every summer, so it's nice that the rest halls are getting well taken care of. And yeah, if there's any questions though about the residential services process, we do encourage you to reach out directly to the rest services office, right? And get excited. It's fun. Living in the dorms is fun.
It's exciting.
All right. So let's go to our next question. What is your favorite memory of being a WPI student?
Oh, I have one.
Yeah.
Mine is more, I don't know. So it was way back in freshman year, and it was like the first snowfall, and I'm from New England, so to me this wasn't anything like dazzling. I was like, oh, like here we go, here comes the winter. And I was walking up from Founders actually to meet friends in the dining hall, and that's about like a 5-minute walk. And I was kind of like miserable because it was snowing, and this was kind of still in the beginning of the year, and I was coming up on the quad, and there was a ton of kids outside, and they're like in their pajamas, they had like their phones out, and there was cameras, and I was like, what are they doing? And then I realized that these kids have never seen snow before, and then I was like, this campus is so cool because it brings like so many people from around the world, and like just across the US too, like right here at home, and like they are so excited to see snow, and then all of a sudden I was excited to see snow, and it was just cool to just, I don't know, that's like my favorite story ever, and it really has nothing to do with WPI, but more of like its people and its community, and I think just like having those people here too, it's just really cool. You have so many opportunities to meet so many people from so many different backgrounds, but in the end we're also still the same. So yeah, that's like my favorite story. I immediately texted my mom after that, and I was like, I love this campus.
Any other cool memories?
I mean, mine has to do with snow too. I'm from Southern California, so I've only like seen snow a handful of times before this year. So actually during the first snowfall this year, one of my roommates is from Hawaii, so the 2 of us are like the little clueless ones in our suite. So us 2 and then 2 of our other friends who are from New England who were mocking us the whole time, we went up to the little hill that's in between Founders and campus, like the quad area, and one of my friends dared me to roll down the hill, and I did, wearing jeans and a t-shirt, because why not? So I got really cold and I discovered what snow truly is, but that was really fun.
That's another thing, is that campus, so we're kind of up the hill, we keep calling it the hill, so sledding is a really big thing in the winter, although not all of like the police officers have to babysit us all day, really want it to be, but yeah, we can go sledding, and then there was like an igloo that was built, so we kind of make the most of the Worcester winters, we have a lot of fun, yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to do the introduction for those people who are just tuning into the live stream. We've been getting lots of awesome questions, so if you do keep thinking of more questions, keep adding them to the comments section. Welcome again for those of you who are just tuning into this live stream. We're coming at you live from the recording suite here in the Foisey Innovation Studio. It's our newest building on campus. I would say it's one of my favorites.
Yes.
I am JP Miralda. I'm a senior and industrial engineering major from Tegucigalpa, Honduras.
I'm Andre Sanchez. I'm a rising junior, studying electrical and computer engineering from Oxford, Connecticut.
Hi everybody, I'm Zoe. I'm a rising sophomore studying industrial engineering, and I'm from Ventura, California.
And my name's Emma. I am a current junior, rising senior next year, and I'm studying biomedical engineering.
if you can pick up on us saying current this, future this, it's because we're going to be done with school next Tuesday, which is exciting. But for me as a senior, it's kind of just sad because I'm not ready. But yeah, you don't have to worry about that yet. Alright, so we're going to get started. We want to talk a little bit more about the projects. I'm going to start off with, Zoe, I know you did a GPS. Can you tell us about why you chose to do a GPS, what was it about, and how would you rate the experience? What do you say for those people looking at it?
Yeah, so our great problem seminar, so in high school I hated studying from a book. I really like hands-on learning, so I was excited about GPS where you get to work in groups and solve problems. So in GPS, the whole goal is to solve a real-world problem. So the topic of my class was Heal the World, and it's a two-term class, so it's 14 weeks. So during the first term, we all focused on like health problems around the world and kind of like got our feet wet in different topics that we could do for our project. And then in the next term, it was B term for me. We dove deep into our project and focused on a specific problem. So our problem was teen depression. So we worked on helping teen depression in the Worcester area, and we ended up focusing on the local high school and created a program for them. So it was really interesting to me because it was like tackling a real life problem, and it was a really cool precursor to the IQP and MQP. I really enjoyed the class because it was a 2-hour class that met twice a week, and we actually met in one of our active learning classrooms in Foy's Innovation Studio where there's whiteboards everywhere and projectors everywhere, and the tables can move. So for about half an hour in the beginning of class, they'd tell us about what the goals were, they'd lecture to us, and then for the rest of the class, we'd dive deep into the project, we'd write on the whiteboards, we'd work on our computer. So it was a really active class that was really dynamic in solving the problem. I thought it was really interesting.
Would you recommend it?
I would absolutely recommend it. There's a lot of really cool different topics. Like my roommate was in Feed the World, and she taught elementary schoolers how to grow plants. So there's a lot of fun ways to like dive deeper into your interests in a way that doesn't necessarily apply to your major. For example, like Heal the World isn't really industrial, but I thought it was really cool because health really interests me.
Awesome. Alright, so we are going to be wrapping up soon. I do have one question from the audience that I wanted to answer as an international student, but they're asking how big and integrated is the international community? I know Andres, you're like half international.
Yeah, so I do have a background from Mexico, but I've been here for quite a while, but I still understand how what it's like to be international, what it's like to, I guess, speak another first language. So yeah.
Hablamos español, but
Sí.
speak Spanish. I am full on international myself. I moved here from Honduras just for college, so I've been here for almost 4 years now. To give you the number, it's about 11%, I believe, the international population here on campus. What's nice about it is that it might seem like 11% is not a lot, but when you have a community like ours, it makes it a lot. We do have cultural organizations and religious organizations that get together by culture, right? So I'm coming from Honduras. There's the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, which is a professional society for Hispanic engineers. And then there's also the Hispanic and Caribbean Student Association, who pretty much puts on all the fun events, so there's a professional and the fun. I know the Brazilian Student Organization is also pretty big, and all the Vietnamese Student Association, Chinese Student Association. There's like a list that goes on and on for all these cultural clubs on campus, so that makes it nice because it sets up a community where you can go meet people from your own background. And even for people, I know that, for instance, for the Hispanic and Caribbean Student Association, there might be people who weren't born and raised outside the US, but they still identify as Latino, so then they can come to this community where they're going to find people who have a sort of similar background as they do. So it's definitely a favorable environment for the internationals. I've enjoyed it myself very, very much. And I've also really liked the support from the International House. They put in a lot of good programs to help you adapt as a student and make sure that you're well integrated into our community.
Yeah, the one thing I have to say with that is a lot of international students come here and they want to get jobs here as well, but it could be a little hard for them just because some companies, the way they work, the way their policies are, they might not be able to get jobs. But these professional organizations, they really, really want to help their international students. They go to conferences, they bring companies in, and these companies really love the international students. They want to give them jobs. So joining these cultural organizations, it's just really wonderful opportunity to A, meet a lot of people, B, learn about your own culture, because some people might not even know about their own culture, and then also getting into these professional societies and just going above and beyond just what school is in general. And also, you don't have to be a part of that culture to join it. If you want to learn more, if you want to kind of just expand your horizons, you can join these clubs as well.
Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna be wrapping up. To wrap up, this is a good one and a deep one. I want you each to summarize your WPI experience so far in one word.
Ooh.
Alright? Or a phrase. Alright? I'm the senior here, so I'm gonna get us started off, and maybe this gives you guys some ideas. For me, I would summarize it in self-growth. Hyphen, self-growth, that's one word. Anyways, but that's been, yeah, I would say a lot of growth for me.
I can go. So
Go for it, yeah.
I would say family. Like I
Wow.
mentioned, I really found my home here on the field hockey team and the clubs that I've been on. The community here at WPI is amazing.
That's a good one. I can't steal that one. I can't steal that one. Oh, wow.
I would say passion, because I think that although maybe you're coming here and you're passionate about engineering, but maybe you're also passionate about other things. And I think this campus is really well-rounded and offers plenty of opportunities for you to do other things outside of that. We're not just engineers, we're not just college students. We have other interests, we have other passions, and you're able to like really take advantage of that at this campus. So I think for me, it's all about that.
And other people are passionate too.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be surrounded by a group of people
Yeah.
like that.
I think mine would be like being yourself. College, and especially WPI, really encourages you to be yourself, go into these interests that you have, learn what you love to do, and then go above and beyond the classroom and do these projects, go to ITP, experience something different, and then at the same time, the social aspect of WPI grows you as a person, like JP was saying.
Awesome. So with that, we will be wrapping up our live stream for today. Once again, congratulations to all of you for being admitted to WPI's World Class of 2023. That's exciting. For those of you who have already confirmed, welcome to the WPI community. For those of you who are still thinking about it, we hope to see you here in August. All right. This live stream will be posted on our YouTube channel. All right. It'll stay up there for a while. So if you want to keep adding more questions to the comments section, we're going to try to have someone on staff in the admissions office to make sure those get responded as well. If not, we encourage you to also reach out to our admissions email, the admissions@wpi.edu. All right, so feel free to keep asking us, and congrats. All right, welcome to WPI and welcome home. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.